What's up guys, this is Ray and welcome to Agent Filmness. And I have another live action anime adaptation for you guys today, and that movie is the 2006 live action of SaiKano. Well, I've seen it listed as the last love song on this little planet, so you guys can call it what you want, but I watched it way back then knowing it as SaiKano, or with the full title being, translated in English of course, She, the Ultimate Weapon. This movie is directed by Suga Taikan, whom I don't think I can find any more films beyond this movie, so I don't know if this director has made any movies beyond this. And this movie stars Maeda and Kubozuka Shunshuke. And so the story of SaiKano, I think it's pretty interesting, but I mean some of it doesn't make sense, but I still think it's pretty interesting. And it's about this high school girl named Chise, and one day she finds out that she has been modified or enhanced, if you will, by the military to become the ultimate weapon. And she and her boyfriend get caught up in this whole mess, and war comes to Japan. A lot of nations come, launch their fighter jets in an effort to take down Chise because they see her as a threat to the entire world. And yeah, I said that war comes to Japan, so this movie and its source material are pretty bleak. I remember actually watching the anime and genuinely liking it way back when. But, you know, I read reviews on it since watching it, especially recently. And I don't think many people like the original anime. I don't know. I guess, well, when I watched the anime back then, I probably went through a phase when I just loved everything depressing. So that's what I remember about the original anime. And a lot of parts of this movie is that everything was just bleak and depressing, filled with no hope at all. And I don't know, maybe I was just a sucker for that back then. And as far as the positives are concerned with this live action, I like the premise, I like the concept of the story, I like the idea of Chise, the character, how she's just a girl, kind of a normal looking girl who just gets caught up in this whole entire thing when it comes to her body being modified by the military against her will, and also her design as an android. I guess she eventually becomes an android or a machine of sorts, and the way her body can form different military weapons, from missiles to grenades and even just cybernetic body parts. I thought it was cool. Like, I don't know, like even by today's kind of anime character designs, I think her design was pretty well done and pretty creative. And as far as the positives are concerned, yeah, that's pretty much it. Everything else to say is pretty negative about this movie. When I watched this live action, when it first came out, I didn't care much for it just because I like the anime so much. I just thought the way they interpreted the characters were a lot different, and also obviously with the story being with the original story being much longer, cramming it into this movie, you'd cut out a lot of parts. I think they did generally well condensing the source material into this 2-hour movie. But generally speaking, even after rewatching it, I hated rewatching it. Yeah, I don't. There was not much other than those things that I mentioned. There's not much else I enjoyed about the movie. Everything else was pretty negative. For example, the characters, they were boring, they were bland, they were lacking every single bit of charisma, and even between each other, they had little to no chemistry. They were a pain to watch on screen. And having since grown out of my depressing phase, I felt that the dialogue was, you know, of course, I don't want to keep saying it, but boring, and at times overly sappy and just too dramatic, over dramatic. I mean, I guess everything is meant to be depressing, and you know, the whole story is designed around this endgame. There was just no hope at all. But I don't know, I guess there has to be a point when it comes to me enjoying a movie where, you know, there has to be a kind of an end to all of that. But this movie doesn't let up. So unless, I mean, you guys might enjoy it if you're the type who loves movies that have no sense of hope, or they're just miserable the entire way through. But for my personal taste, yeah, I just couldn't deal with it. It's not because the story was depressing. There are a lot of movies with depressing stories that I genuinely enjoy, but it's just that while this movie is being depressing, there was nothing else to keep me going, to keep me liking this movie while the story is being as depressing as it was. Also, the supporting characters in the story were complete throwaways, with little to no development at all. I mean, they try to use these characters to develop these sort of love triangle side plots, but they never fully go into it. And in the end, they just become a total waste. They get either completely forgotten or they just get killed off, and you just don't even remember most of their names. This movie has serious pacing issues. Scenes drag on for too long, and just with all the sappy dialogue going on, you just want it to stop and continue on with the next scene, but that doesn't happen as quickly as one would want it to. Regarding the CG, I thought the CG was, admittedly still quite decent, even especially by 2006's standards. Like I keep saying, Japan isn't one known to produce blockbuster Hollywood level CG, but I think they did pretty decent with SaiKano. But at the same time, the CG and the way it was utilized, with the way frames were shot and the way everything was designed, it gave it a kind of made for TV or cheap look. I guess if that's the way they're trying to go with, that's fine. I hate bagging on Japanese movies CG just because they don't have the budget for it, so they do what they can. They do their best. But when it comes to the themes of the story, I feel like the movie kind of had a hard time trying to decide what it wanted to be. Did it want to be a war movie? Did it want to be a sci-fi movie? Did it want to be a teenage drama, romantic drama? I think it tried to blend all three genres together, but it felt like it leaned more towards being a teen romantic drama. And it just didn't sing well to me like that. Like when it came to the war scenes, there wasn't much action or much fighting being displayed on screen. You just get a lot of scenes of Chisei just leveling cities or destroying jets out of the air. I mean, from a visual standpoint, it was pretty cool. But when it comes to having an idea of war, having that stakes were high and things were being destroyed with a lot of people being devastated, you just couldn't have that feeling with this movie. A lot of the jets that were being destroyed or the cities that were being leveled, in the end, things just felt kind of empty. I mean, you do get some scenes that happen in Chisei and Shuji's hometown, with everyone running away and things being obliterated around them and them getting caught up in danger. But other than that, when it came to everything on a global scale like this movie was trying to portray, you just didn't feel any of that. And this is just me personally, but I prefer the ending of the anime a lot more. I'll go ahead and spoil it for you guys. In the anime, the world ends, and I just thought that was probably the most enjoyable thing about the anime, but in the movie they changed it up a bit. But overall, what did I think of the live action of SaiKano? Yeah, I didn't like it. I mean, I think it was overly ambitious. It had a lot of things that it wanted to do, but in the end it couldn't pull it off, and the end result is just a total snooze fest. Don't recommend watching it unless you like the original anime. You're just curious as to what kind of thing the live action has turned out to be. But if I were to recommend this to you as a new fan, I would say no bother watching it. But yes, those are just my thoughts on the live action of SaiKano. What did you guys think, or what kind of questions did you guys have? Let me know in the comment section below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on Facebook and Twitter. And by all means, please support Asian Filmist through Patreon. It really helps the channel a lot. And yeah, as always, everyone, thank you so much for watching. Hope to see you all again in the next video. Take it easy.